for us to start our program. I'll ask Brother David Dobbs if he'd come forward and give our prayer.
Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity, Father, to serve. Father, we are not the real leaders here, these people around the room. Father, you are the leader of our country. You are the king that sits on your throne, and you're sovereign. Father, we are just stewards. Father, make us good stewards of what you've given us, this city, in our homes, in our churches, all this world belongs to you, and we're here to take care of it, not for the people of this town, but for you. Father, may we every day look to you. We want to see your smiling face. And Father, may the work that we do, may it reflect on who our Savior is, Jesus Christ. Father, we want people to see Christ in the way we do our work. Father, bless us, bless every one of these leaders around this room, these stewards, Father. And help us all to do good work, Father, that reflects your Son. I pray that you'll bless us, bless each one of these stewards, Father, and just I pray that you will bless our town through their work. And we pray these things in your Son's holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, David. I'll ask the representative of the American Legion to come and get CFW.
American Legion.
American.
Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call this meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Johnson.
Here.
City Attorney Stevenson. Here. City Treasurer Martin.
Here.
Councilor Mundy.
Here.
Councilor Holt. Here. Councilor Croom.
Here.
Councilor Hutchison.
Here.
Councilor Robinson.
Present.
Councilor Catt.
Here.
Councilor Pulliam.
Here.
Councilor Taylor.
Here.
Councilor Harris is absent, and Councilor McClendon. Present. Got 9 out of 10 present, sir.
Quorum present, we'll proceed with our meeting. The first item on the agenda would be the bid openings for the utility, and I'll ask that you refer these to the Utility Commission.
So moved.
And I had a motion and a second. All in favor by aye?
Aye.
Opposed, they are referred for disposition. We have a proclamation presentation, and I'll ask Alderman Wayne Croom if he'd come forward and read that proclamation.
By the Honorable William J. Johnson, Mayor, whereas the legislative and executive branches of the City of West Memphis recognizes the city as a Purple Heart Trail. This trail is established in 1992 by the Military Order of the Purple Heart to be a symbolic trail that commemorates the honors of all men and women who have been wounded or killed in the battle of combat where serving in the United States Armed Forces. And whereas the Purple Heart Trail originates in Mount Vernon, Virginia, the burial location of General George Washington, and traverses across the United States and overseas as far as Puerto Rico and Guam. And whereas the Purple Heart Trail can be observed by the signs placed in various locations, antidote those roads and highways where legislation has been passed to designate parts of the national road system as the Purple Heart Trail. The actual format and designs of the signs varies from state to state. Whereas the city of West Memphis has a population of approximately 28,000 people, and among this population, the city has high-ranking military personnel, active duty and retired, as well as Purple Heart recipients that we are extremely proud of to have in our community. And whereas the city of West Memphis recognizes and salutes the American Legion, VFW, military personnel, military families, organizations, and others whose commitment and increasing sacrifices made our country through the United States of Armed Services. Now, therefore, I, William H. Johnson, Mayor of the City of West Memphis, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim Thursday, November the 1st, 2018 as the Purple Heart Trail City, and urge all citizens in West Memphis to give special recognition to those military personnel and their families, as well as Purple Heart recipients, as confirmation of our commitment to honor those who have been served and have served in the armed forces to make our country a better place to live and raise families.
Sure. You received a copy of the minutes in your packet. Any additions or corrections?
Motion approved is submitted.
Second.
Motion second to approve is submitted. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? They are approved. Had no items of old business brought forward from the previous meeting. Have no items of business for the new business under new business or today. So I'll move on under permission request. The first one is, we talked about this tabling for one more council meeting. Could I have a motion and a second to table this?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of this by aye? Aye. Opposed? It is tabled until the next meeting. And I believe there was a work session scheduled. I need permission to sign a contract for a pump station repair for the utility. Could I have a motion and a second to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor by aye?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. I need, wasn't an item I wanted to add to the
Yes,
agenda.
sir, I'll get,
Frank.
add the uncashed tickets checks to the 4 clubs. It's $16,261.75 to 3 of them, and $16,261.74 to the 4th one.
Wait a minute, first of all, I gotta add it to the agenda. Could I,
Yeah.
So moved.
need a motion and a second. I have a motion and a second to add to the agenda. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? Now, make your recommendation.
The 4 checks would be distributed, $16,261.75 to 3 of them, $16,261.74.
Could I have a motion and a second to approve this
So moved.
distribution?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor by aye?
I have one question. You said that that's going to be 16,000 to 4 and 16,000 to 3. How is that being broken?
Well, there's a 1 penny difference in the 4th one,
I see.
16,261.75.
rounding.
61.74.
I almost put a penny in myself, I couldn't figure out how to add it to the check.
Auditors wouldn't let you.
We have a
Auditors
motion and a
written you up
second on the
for it.
floor, don't we?
Yeah, we got a motion and a second on the floor.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? It is approved.
They were
Make
real
that-
happy.
Make that distribution. And I move on to committee reports at A&P.
Yes, sir. The A&P met recently. We looked at our collections for September were $125,580. Cumulatively, we have a 1% increase over the same time year-to-date. We had 9 events at the Civic Center with guests of 1,285. There were no activities at the auditorium because the HVAC unit is currently being installed. The Civic Center parking lot has been repaved. We heard a report on our retail incentive program. Our Economic Development Department is working with a retail restaurant, and the A&P is going to put up an incentive for that if they choose to accept it. And we approved, the A&P Commission approved joining the lawsuit for online booking requiring that they collect A&P tax. It's the same lawsuit that the council approved joining. And then we approved commercial appraisals of the Civic Center and the auditorium to make sure our building insurance is adequate. That concludes my report.
The next one I have on the agenda is the budget.
Yes, sir, Budget Committee met. The sales tax information that Frank has provided, the general sales tax for October of this time compared to last year was 4.04% greater, roughly $30,229.44. And as an increase year-to-date, it was 1.79% or $132,773.26 more than we'd received this time last year. Southland Gaming for the month of October was 1.82%, greater than last year, and for the year, 4.96%. Total over budget, $376,316.95. The Budget Committee reviewed or looked at 3 different items. One from the fire department required some additional information, so it is back with HR, and they are working to fine-tune a few things, and they'll be bringing it back to us hopefully next week. The other item was economic development. City has a relationship with the Facilities Board and has had so for years. They are requesting additional services from that department and are have already approved to pay the additional expense to generate those. It actually was an increase of salary of $14,000, plus the allocation for the benefit side of it, total of $18,000. They will fund that. City attorney is going to work to draft a contract, so we'll have it before year end, and then we'll approve that contract annually with little changes as come up between their department and the city of West Memphis. And the Budget Committee has approved that recommendation to bring before the council. And I make that motion that we make that consideration.
Do I have a second?
I make a motion, we table this waiver.
Have a motion and a second. Do what?
Make a motion that we table it.
Which one we tabling?
This is the economic development that's being presented now. It's a one item issue with the secretary that works there. They'll be doing work for the Facilities Board. And that work is starting already and probably has been ongoing for some time, but this is what they've agreed to.
Okay, but see, that's what I'm talking about. Things are started jumping out the woodworks when we don't know, and then we come where we have to push. Now, we sitting here, I don't have a problem with the raise, but I'm just saying, I think we need to get all that information together and then look at this. That's what I'm saying.
Like I said,
I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, I just think that we need to put it all in and then vote on this. Because things are jumping out the woodworks. I mean, you just said they've been, we don't know. I mean, the council is short of a lot of things. We don't know. We need to know as well before we have to be in a push situation.
again, the Budget Committee is, like I say, simply referring the recommendation.
We have a
But the motion to
and a
table
second.
overrules the motion to second that anybody done here.
I think we had a motion second on the floor. They both came up before the motion table came up.
Mr. City Attorney.
I thought the motion, the second came up before the motion to table as well, so I think you need to vote on what's on the floor before the table, is what I heard.
How many, were we talking about voting on at least 2 different entities here?
This is economic development. Once your decision on how you wish to handle that, we'll go to the utility.
Okay, so we're going to vote on the economic development
As of
adjustment
now,
first.
The transfer from the Public Facilities Board to the
City of West
Economic
Memphis.
Development.
Yes,
While
sir.
we're in the discussion phase of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make the motion to table while we're in the discussion phase of it.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
This is on tabling the motion.
Motion to table. And it'd be a mistake. We didn't table the money from Southland.
Right.
You tell me.
Counselor Mundy.
There wasn't a raise.
Counselor Mundy.
No.
Counselor Holt.
No.
Counselor Crum.
Let me get clarification here.
We're voting to table this motion.
So a no vote would say no table.
Exactly.
No.
Counselor Hutchison.
No, it wasn't.
Counselor Robinson.
I'm going to pass.
Counselor Catt.
No.
Counselor Pulliam.
Yes.
Counselor Taylor.
No.
Counselor Harris is out. Counselor McClendon.
Pass.
Pass. Okay. Counselor Robinson, did you wish to vote at all?
No, I do not.
You don't wish to vote. Counselor McClendon, you don't wish to vote? It fails. The motion to table fails.
What's the count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 noes and 1 yes.
Only one yes.
So the
Motion to table
motion to table
fails.
fails.
Motion to table fail.
We have a motion to table and a second on the floor to
Motion to table fail.
yes.
So there's a motion and a second remaining on the floor to
approve the
approve
facility.
the recommendation from the Budget Committee to the council for an $18,000
Yes.
transaction between the Facilities Board and the City of West Memphis.
You've heard the statement on the money. We have a motion and a second on the floor to pass it. Mr. Clerk, will you call the roll on this? This is to transfer the money from the Public Facilities Board to Economic Development.
Counselor Mundy,
Yes.
Counselor Holt,
Yes.
Counselor Croom,
Yes.
Counselor Hutchison,
Yes.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Counselor Cat,
Yes.
Counselor Pulliam,
No.
Counselor Taylor,
Yes.
and Counselor McClendon.
Yes.
It passes.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may, is the utility administration had presented a scope to the utility commission, which has been approved, that was presented to the budget committee. The plan that they're wanting to put forth is based off of a 3-year market analysis. It'll be completed once every 3 years. Ranges will be established. Each employee that meets the performance review at the end of the year, of course, will receive a 2% pay raise, regardless of what the city council has done with the remaining city employees, whether it's 1%, 3%, or 5%, does not matter. The review status is there as a tool to bring all their employees up to maximum capacity, to the benefit of the city, to the benefit of themselves, to be able to get promoted and further their careers and their future incomes with the city. This is the plan that the Utility Commission believes is best for them looking forward over the long term. They feel like it's going to be the best way to drive that utility, to keep it as marketable as possible, profitable as possible, and yet still provide the greatest service to our community. That boils down to about $120,000 difference between the 2018 and the projected 2019 budget proposals that you will see on December the 1st or 11/30. 11/30. Okay, November the 30th. What they're wanting to do is ask council's permission. Is this the path that you'd like to see them go down based off the work they've done, so they can go ahead and get all their data to finance so they can start preparing the 2019 budget? So, Chair entertains a motion to approve this request.
Second.
I'll make a motion, we table it.
Second.
We have a motion to
The table.
Same format.
we have a motion and a second to pass it. We have a motion to table.
There's a motion second to approve, and there's a motion second to table. Yes. Do we follow the same format as last time and vote to
Mr.
table?
Clerk, call the roll.
This is to table this.
This is to table.
Counselor Mundy.
Is yes to table and no to?
Well, that's the only we're asking now, just the table. Counselor Holt.
No.
Counselor Croom.
No.
Counselor Hutchison.
No.
Counselor Robinson.
No.
Counselor Cat.
No.
Counselor Pulliam.
Yes.
Counselor Taylor.
No.
And Counselor McClendon.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 yeses. It fails. The
Now we
motion
have,
table fails.
now we have a motion and a table to approve.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clerk, call the roll on that.
Okay, this is to approve the measure. Counselor Mundy.
No.
Counselor Holt.
Yes.
Counselor Croom.
Yes.
Counselor Hutchison.
Yes.
Counselor Robinson.
Yes.
Counselor Cat.
Yes.
Counselor Pulliam.
No.
Counselor Taylor.
Yes.
And Counselor McClendon.
Yes.
It passes. 1, 2, 3,
It is
4,
approved.
5, 6, 7, 7 to 2. Yes, sir.
Mr. Cat, do you have something else from the budget?
We will be meeting again. HR has worked diligently with rewriting and evaluating all the positions within the city. Hopefully, and again, not want to put pressure on Mrs. Coleman, but we can start meeting with those probably no later than early, maybe to mid-December. Once that happens, we will probably meet every week in order to go through the entire process. I'd estimate 4 to 5 weeks to get all that done. We very well might likely will end up not having the 2019 budget approved by the last meeting in December. We may go ahead and approve 1/12 of the 2018 going into 2019 to make sure that we get as much data available to all council members to make sure everybody's fully informed of the direction in which we're going. New admin may want to have some input in that as soon as this election's over as far as path goes. So we're just kind of taking this at a little slower process than we normally do to make sure that we get everything on the table that needs to be.
Tracy,
Yes.
before we leave the budget committee, a lot of this thing that we just presented, I know one of the things that I have an issue with is that if the city give the regular employees a 5% raise, and the utility will only get a 2% raise.
That is the presentation I was given, yes.
And that's not right, I don't think.
Well, at the same time, that's what I'm saying. We're rushing and pushing through things. It's not that saying what you're putting on the table is right or wrong. It's just saying that we need to take our time and look at this, because I guarantee you a lot of you hadn't looked at it. But that's something that we need to do. Things are constantly being pushed down our throat for no reason. We'd have had plenty of time. That's why I said we need to start looking at stuff before we start voting.
The vote?
Wait, I know we've had, the last time, but I'm just saying, if you got any question, the last meeting that we had, I mean, if you got time for questions, I mean, it's too late now. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're not meeting like we should. I mean, I don't know why everyone think that we should be meeting on the first and third Thursday of every month. If we got a situation that we need to take care of, then we need to start meeting. And we should have been doing that before now, you know.
Also.
And that's where I am with that, because like I said, we've been doing things, but we need to put things in check like they should be. And I mean, I'm not against anyone getting a raise, but I'm just saying we need to be more careful about what we're doing, because first of all, we still have the insurance that we got to look at. We hadn't looked at that. I mean, I know you're supposed to be having a meeting here soon, but all of this is, I just believe that we're going to be overwhelmed by it all in the end. Just pay close attention to it. You'll see.
And also, one of the issues that I have that I want to make sure, and I said this in budget committee, when you look at the upper end of the table, the bigger raises are there. I would love to see the people taken care of first before we have a $110,000 to $130,000 range. Then you have someone that's going from a $14 to an $18 range. And I mean, those are things that it's not, I'm not saying I didn't want to vote for it, but I just wanted to get some understanding, some clarification. And you know, we've been put in a situation that we voted against it, we're not voting for raises, and that's not it. And the newspaper, I want that to be made sure that it was relayed correctly. Not that we voting against the raise, we just want it fair for all the people of our utility department.
Well, if I may, and I'll kind of see if I can address both those at one moment. The pay raises that are being possibly projected, you will see in the 2019 budget when we receive it on November the 30th. So that data will be available as to what decision the Utility Commission finally made. Right now, again, it's a range. Where they're going to drop it will be by position title, and you'll know exactly where they're looking at for that. The philosophy is basically what you're approving today from my standpoint of which direction the Utility Commission wants to drive our utility. More of a market-based driven type environment where it's got predictable relationships with our employees. They know they're going to have the peer reviews, the performance reviews. They know every 3 years it's going to be market-driven analysis redone by an independent third party along with our HR department. So I think that, you know, in the long run, once everybody gets comfortable, I think we'll be okay. And as you indicate, a lot of things do come on us rather quickly sometimes. This one started in January. I know all of us have not been a part of it, that entire path that it's been traveling. And maybe that's something we need to do as far as visiting with utility once a quarter going forward to make sure we're in constant communication, have a feel for the direction and path they're wishing to go down, make sure we're in agreement with how we're going to spend all the revenues. So I think this is just a first step to moving us forward. It's probably not going to be the final. I'm sure there's probably going to be, once the utility here's this report, say, well, you know, maybe we need to look at it a second time where, you know, with the admin, explain again where you want to accomplish, how we're going to get there, and make sure everything is done is, you know, equitably and, of course, always fair. I do request a little bit of patience. I think it will get us there. And again, data-driven, we will make sure everybody has everything you need. And if we need to wait until February to approve the budget, then that's what we will do. We're not going to rush it. We're going to take our time. And again, come November the 6th, there will be possibly a different philosophy on how things to going forward, and we're probably better off addressing those immediately so we can try to implement anything that might need to be considered.
How much is forecasted now Is that what I'm on, from budget standpoint?
Yes, no.
This is a forecast and analysis of what they're wanting to do.
Right, this is what I want to make perfectly clear to the public and to the employees, that this is not a passage or failure of giving anybody a raise. This is just a philosophy and analysis, so we don't want the public to misconstrue anything that we're doing here on the council floor today.
It's a direction to build on in the future, basically, is when you get right down to it. And it very well may be a direction that the entire city evolves to, again, depending on how things come out in the next election. The budget has always been a living, breathing, evolving document. It's the one thing that every day probably could be amended in some form or fashion. And that's not going to be any different 2019 or any year coming after that. Getting the data and getting it presented is where I need to do a better job. I'll be the first to admit on that, and we'll strive to make sure that we do that going forward.
And
Any other
Mayor-
comments on this?
Mayor, I might just remind everyone, Public Works will meet next Wednesday, the 7th at noon here, and we're going to do the salary review, go over the salary survey for street and sanitation. So anyone who wants to be a part of that, to look at it. If you're not on Public Works, you're still welcome.
Okay. Have no announcements? Have no
Announcements.
appointments? No citizens' requests? Anybody?
Lorraine had an announcement.
No. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I do have two announcements to the public. The cleanup for last Saturday before was canceled due to the inclement weather. It turned out to be a very beautiful day, but early that morning, it was most certainly too cold. The ground was too muddy and the grass was too wet. So we tried to use our wisdom to cancel it and reschedule. I came and sat outside for about an hour or so to see if anybody was going to show up, but no one did. So evidently the word got out that it was canceled, and thank you so much, Nick Coulter, for doing such a wonderful job with that. So this Saturday, November 10th, we are going to abbreviate the time, which is going to be from 9 to 12 noon. That's Saturday, November 10th. We will have our cleanup. We pray that God gives us favor on this, and it will be from 9 to 12 noon. That's our cleanup, fall cleanup. And also one other announcement, in an effort to help students realize their college dreams, the Wonder Junior High School will be sponsoring the HBCU College Fair again this year. That's going to be on November 9th at the Civic Center. So there are going to be many colleges, historical Black colleges from all around, giving scholarships, and a whole lot of money is going to be given out. So if you have children, students in the grades 11, 12, please encourage them and their schools to come and participate in this very, very wonderful event. I think this is their third annual ones, and I mean, literally millions of dollars has been given to students so they can.
Did you name just a few schools that may be attending?
Sure, we're going to have Lyon College, all the historical Black colleges are going to be here. They have been here for the past 3 years. I can't see it, I don't have my glasses on.
Very impressive, but good, okay.
But all of the colleges will be here. I mean, Lyon colleges, all of the Black historical colleges will be here. And I do apologize that I don't have my glasses on. They're here. They've got Lemoyne Owens, I can see just a little bit. They've got Lincoln University. They've got, oh my goodness, the colleges out of Jonesboro. Will you read that for me?
I don't have your glasses on either. Alcorn State University, Alabama A&M, Clark Atlanta University, Dillard University, Edward Waters College, Fisk University, Grambling State University, Harris Stowe State University, Jarvis Christian College, Jackson State University, Kentucky State University, Lane College, Langston University, Lemoyne Owen College, Lincoln University, Mississippi Valley State University, Morgan State University, Oakwood University, Payne College, Paul Quinn College, Philander Smith College, Prairie View A&M University, Russ College, Savannah State University, Shaw University, Southern University and A&M College, Talladega College, Tennessee State University, Texas Southern University, Tuskegee University, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, University of Maryland at Eastern Shore, Virginia State University, and Wiley College.
Thank you so much. And all of these colleges will be here. It's been really wonderful for the past 3 years. And of course, I'm giving this announcement because my daughter is a science teacher at Wanda Junior and one of the sponsors. And if I didn't do this, I don't know what may happen to me.
Okay.
I got one question I want to ask Frank.
Thank you. That is my announcement.
Keep of the money. You know, since we mentioned the Public Facility Board, back during the time when, Dollar General? Family Dollar. When they first came, now, was there some money that was involved that should have came back to us that we never got enough? Or you're not familiar with it?
I'm not familiar with that at all.
Is there a way that you can check to make sure?
I will. I'll check on it.
Appreciate that.
I'm just not familiar with that at all.
Well, we've had a couple of people came and spoke about it some years and years ago. I don't think you might not be, you was the treasurer then.
I've been here 20 years.
That's what I said, you was the treasurer then.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just think, just look into it and maybe next,
I will check
you
on it.
have a report for us.
Surely will.
Appreciate you.
Mayor, I had one announcement handed to me if nobody else has one. There's a grand opening for the Crittenden County Baptist Memorial Hospital Crittenden will be held on Monday, November 5th at 10 o'clock at the new hospital, 2100 North 7th Street. So that is Monday.
Anything else that come before the
Motion
council?
we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, by aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.